Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you're watching from, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay. Welcome to our page. Today, we've got an interview with Dr. Suzie. Before we go over to her, we'll just introduce ourselves again. So, I'm Veda, and this is Money. We both live in the UK, but we're originally from India in Tamil Nadu. I work as a teaching assistant in a primary school, and Money works as a project manager for a telecommunications company. So the reason why we came into this business is, of course, we all favor family time. So we wanted to bring in another income stream where we won't be putting out too much of our time. So we save that time for our children.
Yeah. Adding to that, we also like to learn something on the social media platforms. We found that this business is really interesting. We are also learning personally,
Yeah,
and also,
with everything moving online, of
yeah,
course, this was a completely new opportunity that we thought we'd make use of. Um, but we have our guest, Suzie, has been doing this for a very long time, and she's been running her business successfully as well as being a doctor. Suzie, would you like to introduce yourself? Thank you so much for joining us today.
That's absolutely fine. Thank you, Mani and Veda, for having me today. It's a pleasure to be with you all. So, like what Mani and Veda said, I am Susie. I am a GP in the UK, and I am a hands-on clinician. Plus, I do a bit of management role here and there. And also, like Mani and Veda, I'm also a proud digital business owner. They did mention I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for about 20 months. I have done other things before this, but yeah, this particular business, I've been now doing it for 20 months, and it's been the best decision that I've ever made so far. So, yeah.
Amazing. So, as a doctor, Suzie, why did you feel the need to find another income stream? What was your why for venturing into this business?
Yeah, for me, it all started from COVID, really. So, my husband's a chef by background. So, during that time, he was about to change jobs. So, he was not entitled to the furlough scheme. And that meant that I was the sole breadwinner of the family for nearly a year. And I, as I've mentioned, I'm a very hands-on clinician. So, I was still seeing patients face to face at that point in time. And I was really, really scared of bringing the virus home. And there was a time when a lot of Black men and Asian men were dying. That really, really frightened me. So you can imagine, like, if I was responsible to get my husband infected with the virus, I was thinking of all possible dark thoughts, worst possible scenarios that could happen. And another thing is, one of the things I do in the community is I am the long COVID champion. So what that means is I bridge people in from the community to secondary care. And I have people in my books from March 2020 even till now, and they've lost their jobs, they've lost their identity, they're too fatigued, can't work. Yeah, and they're struggling financially. So I've seen it firsthand, in the lives of my patients. So I knew, like, if I'm not working, the we would lose the house, worst case scenarios, because you can't pay the bills and things like that. And I knew at that point that it was unwise to be on doing just a job to pay the bills, because you don't know, so many things can happen. You can be made redundant.
Mhm.
You can, because of illness, your own illness, or a family member being ill, or my parents are getting older now, if someone's ill, there are times when you can't work. But do you have something that will actually supplement your income even if you don't work? And for me, at that point in time, the answer was no. I absolutely had nothing, because these are things which we are not taught in school. The only thing we were taught in school is, as the mantra goes, when you were young, your parents said, go to school, study well, go to uni, do a professional course, and then your life is sorted. I think that's the biggest lie I've ever heard. Really, really, that's the biggest lie of the 21st century. And you can see the lives of people like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and all. They've not even have a college kind of education,
Agree.
Yeah.
um, and they are billionaires. And that speaks volumes, really. So from when you start studying their stories, you're like, it's not the most educated people that's actually the richest. And I'm very interested, and I'm a very person who likes stats a lot. And even in the US last year, when they did the stats, the top 10 earning professions, doctors didn't come in the top 10. In the UK, the top 5 was still doctors weren't. People have this notion that doctors are, but really they aren't.
Yeah.
And you spend years, like I've spent years, because I've got several qualifications as I grew. And it took me about to reach my position. Now it's been 20 years practicing medicine, and that's outside my graduation days. So I'm still not one of the top earners in the country or anything like that. Still, even when I started this business, I was doing about 5 to 6 days a week, and I might be a high earner, but not a top earner.
Yeah.
And and that was the time I spent away from my daughter. When she was growing up, we had a full-time nanny, so that was quite expensive. But we had my husband was working for Gordon Ramsay that time, so he was flat out. So he was like working 16 hours. I was studying, and I was going up and forth. I was studying in a different place, coming only just weekends. So we needed a full-time nanny. So all the whatever we were earning was going for the nanny, just to keep the house, and I was paying rent in 2 places. It was all outgoings rather than things in
Yes.
not that I regret it, because I am today, and with all my qualifications, I am, because I've done that. But now when I look back, there's nothing much to show. Before starting this business, there was nothing much to show. And that was the thing. You get all these qualifications, and there's nothing much, because just to keep us working as a doctor, like I have to pay indemnity in case someone sues me. I have a union which I have to pay in case someone again comes after me. I have my appraisals, which is mandatory, and I have to pay money to do them, then to do the courses, to just upgrade myself. So it's not cheap at all. So when people have the perception that higher income earners they can afford things, that's not really true. We are high earners because we have that much of things to do just to keep up with the training and new developments and things like that. So the bills were still, and our jobs are not, I've not had a pay rise for ages now. Nowadays I'm not asking for a pay rise because it's started to affect my tax a lot with the so I'm telling them, don't pay me more, just give me more time off. I want time off. I don't want your money anymore. So now the tables have turned, because now even they want to give me some. And what's the pay rise? 1%, 2%. And inflation's about, today I was changing my BT contract, and the inflation at the moment, and it was written in the contract, they're going to, the charges will be, what you're paying plus 3.9%. BT and every other company is taking, is having an inflation, while we are getting a pay rise. There were about 5-6 years I didn't have a pay rise at all, and now there's in between there's slightly, which I am declining because of tax reasons. I decline. I say, if you want to give me benefits, I just want time off. That's what I asked them. And so that's what I'm doing at the moment. But and we don't see a pay rise of 3.9% or whatever. You don't.
If you're lucky enough, 1%.
Exactly. 1% pay rise is if you're lucky. And being in the NHS, I worked years without pay rise. The only way I could have an extra pay rise is if I worked more. Of course, if you worked more. And that was at the expense of not seeing my daughter. I'm really ashamed to say, when she was growing up, I didn't know the names of her friends, and, like thinking back, I'm thinking, yes, I've achieved all this, but for what? You come to that realization, for what, really? Because,
when you think back, those are the things that matter to you, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I don't remember any of, now I take the time, this friend of hers, that friend. So now I know people's names. I know her teachers' names. I didn't know. The nanny knew her friends' names. Really, but she was, I have to say, she was excellent nanny. So she knew the names of the teachers, the kids, and things like that, which I didn't know. And, as a mom, that's actually, no matter what you've accomplished, but as a mom, that's a big failure. At least that's what I saw myself. As a mom, I felt like I was a big failure.
Yeah.
Because kids don't, they don't remember all the things. My daughter doesn't even remember what all I've bought her, but she will remember how I spoke to her and the time I've spent with her. She still remembers that, but she can't remember, the 150-pound Lego which I bought. And when she was younger, she can't, oh, did you pay that much? I said, yes, darling, I did pay that much. They can't remember. And you think you can buy things for them and that will be okay, and it's not okay. It's really not okay. And I learned it the hard way.
Invaluable, isn't it?
Sorry?
Your time. It's your time.
It's our time with our kids is the most important thing. And that's what I'm in a place now. For me, my time with my family, with my husband and my daughter is priority. And that's what we are doing. And thankfully, because of the cash flow from the business, I'm able to earn something at least every month, which is great. There are months where I earn twice as much as a GP, months where I earn as much as a GP, months half as much as a GP. It does. Yes, it's not fixed, but it's still fine. We're still able. Because of that, my husband now just freelancing when a client calls and things like that. And from 6 days a week, I'm equal to 4 days a week, which is a big thing. And all this achievement is within 20 months.
And also you're not binded to someone like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be around this time. So there's no specific, someone who is controlling yourself. If it is a full-time job, you're always responsible for someone, or someone from the client or from the customer or from anybody else who is giving you the jobs to do that. But that's the beauty of this business. Like, it's our own business. Whenever we have time, we can do it. If we don't do it. Yeah. Good.
Exactly. That goes on to our next question.
Yeah, that was my next question. So how do you manage your time as a career, as a business doctor, and as well as the business entrepreneur? So how do you manage the time frame?
So when I started, I was doing between 5 and 6 days a week when I started the business. So it's not like I had a lot of time. But you will be surprised, because we all have the same amount of time. Really, we all have 24 hours, but it depends on how you're using the 24 hours. So, and the recent stats from Global Web Index, and I quote this, it's their research. They did a research and they found out about 62.3% of the world uses social media. Okay. So they use social media, and out of that, they, and 2 hours and 23 minutes a day is what the people use for social media. Now they use social media for entertainment. Mainly that's what what do? We look at the feeds and we scroll, we have a laugh, and we tell the excuse, like before starting the business, like I still have Netflix, Disney, Prime, and I still watch them. Don't get me wrong, I still watch my series. I do watch them. But we would be binging because we stressed after coming from work and we just want to offload, and we just binging. So what I did is, instead of binging, I do watch a little, just to because you have to, when I eat something or something, I just sometimes watch something. And then instead of spending the rest of my evening just watching something, what I've started doing is I started using social media with a purpose. Now, even though I use social media, I use it to earn. And the other beauty is, like, you just need about an hour or two a day. And we can't have 2 hours every day. So even an hour is more than enough, because that's what I did. And when I say an hour a day, is not like I didn't have the whole hour also sometimes. So it was pockets of time during the day, sometimes 15 minutes before going to work, sometimes, while in between, if I have a cancellation, or if I've sometimes finished filling in my, doing my admin work quickly, I might use 10 minutes to actually do something about the business. things like that. So it's in between work I do, and that's all included in the hour, an hour a day, and that's how you use. And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of having things working 24/7 and online, because you're not restrained to a time. There's a lot of flexibility. It's not like, where, oh, this field only works from 9 to 5, so you have to do all your deals and calling your clients and whatever you need to do in a business between that
Yeah.
time. That's not the case, because this is 24/7. If you're working nights, when you have your 1 hour break, you just check your, instead of again simply scrolling on social media, check whether you have any message. Do you have any questions that people have that you need to answer? So that's what you do. And that's what I did. And sometimes maybe in the weekends I spend a bit more. But that even a lot of my videos, a lot of the ads which I advertise in social media, a lot of them, if you look at it, it's from me in the GP practice. It'll be during my, after my doing my admin work, I just take a quick video.
Mm.
And it, sometimes I do my ads from home, but a lot of times I do it from work.
Yeah.
And that's how I managed it. And it is, if people are spending, and this is the average people spend 2 hours and 23 minutes. Instead of spending that on whiling away, just being entertained, just use it to earn.
That's it. You use it more productively rather than, just
use it just to earn. We are all doing the same, but we are just using it with a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. So, somebody might say, well, why do I need to choose a digital business? I could go and do a traditional one. So what do you think is the advantage of choosing this digital business?
Yeah, I think I touched upon one point. One point is the flexibility. So because before this, I did a bit of property, and I love property. It's also another lucrative thing. But what I found with property is, when I did property, is you have to keep calling the estate agents, and it was so annoying that they work only from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, and that time as a GP I was working. So usually during lunch break I call, but it was so, they'll say you have to call us by 1 o'clock. Well, I might be, seeing a patient, or run over the clinic or so. You don't have any sort of flexibility, and then you're stressed over it and things like that. So for me, that was a problem. And that's the problem with the traditional business, isn't it? There's a time.
Yeah.
There's a fixed time where you have to, there's flexibility. So if you're always doing nights, during your break, during, that 3 o'clock hour, if you have a break, that time, do some work before you go to sleep in the morning or before you go to work. Do something about the business. And we have lots of nurses doing night shifts, doing this business. Fantastic. And that's how you do it. And that's the flexibility. The other thing is, when I started, I was working 5 to 6 days a week. So I couldn't be there in person doing, I can't, if I was having a bricks and mortar business, how can that, that will not work. I would have to hire someone to be there to do the business, because I can't be physically there, because I am working as a doctor. This is because it's an online business. Everything runs, 90% of it runs in automation. So yes, you have to learn. You have to learn the process. You have to learn the system. You'll have to learn how to do digital marketing and things like that. And we have a training, video-based, bite-sized video-based training to help you learn that. And then we have this fantastic community. If you have a question, you just ask, and we're just a WhatsApp message away to answer your questions, isn't it? We've got a fantastic community of now about I think 194,000, isn't it? People there in that community. And there's where you can actually communicate with them, ask them questions, and everyone's so friendly and helpful. So you're not alone in this journey. And then you have a mentor and a coach. And that means, like, they have made mistakes, and when you have a mentor and a coach, you can bypass that and that will lead to your destination faster than if you were trying on your own. Can you do it by yourself? Of course you can. It will probably cost you more money, because what systems we have in place, our automated system, the funnel, the email campaigns, the website, the back office people, the tech people, all there, to have that by yourself costs about £21,000 to maintain a year.
Yeah.
And we just pay a one-off fee of $149 for life.
Lifetime. Yeah.
Get that. If you were to do it yourself, you had to pay £21,000 a year to do what sort of things with the drip campaign, the website. I was thinking of doing a website when I was doing one of my other businesses, and even if it's someone they'll charge you £300, and then if you wanted a dynamic one, it can go up to £1,000 and things like that. And
Yeah.
then for this 149, we learn 6 different platforms. When I was doing my property business, I was doing ads also at that time, and I paid £3,500 just to learn how to do Facebook ads. And now when I saw this program, I was like, why did I spend all that money? And you're like, oh my God, it's a minefield. And I'm so happy that I took that step of faith. Was I scared? Of course I was scared, because I'm not a business person. And I've made mistakes on the way. So I was scared, but then you're never alone. And you have a coach and a mentor. And if you're not sure, you can always ask.
On top of that, what I would say, like from my experience is, the person who is on the top ladder, like maybe like a very higher level in any business, they might come for a video, maybe an hour session, yes, free of charge, it's a free webinar, and if you ask them for the next session or the third session, they will charge us for every session. On this business, if you think about the mastermind, who are the very classic business owners, who are like doing the top job, they are giving every week mastermind session. It's just free. It's just completely binded on that 149 package. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
When I started doing business, I did a few other things. And when I started, I went on the Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi course. So it was a 3-month course, and we had weekly masterminds, and we had the training and things like that. And for 3 months, I paid a few thousands, for that. But I couldn't get them one-to-one or anything. It was just the weekly masterminds. Obviously, Tony Robbins is a big shot. I think if you need one-to-one with him for a few hours, is $250,000 US dollars. But what I'm saying is, you had to pay a couple of grand to do that. And that was just for 3 months. And this we are getting lifelong, and there's no membership fee after. So that's where our business model is great. And another thing is, if you were thinking of starting a business like a franchise, so like KFC, if you want to be having a franchise with them, which is okay, it's the other extreme. It's about $1 million to 2.5 million just to get their franchise. That's just to get the franchise. Or okay, you don't want a franchise, you just want to start a shop, or like a takeaway, because me and my husband were planning a few years back to do that. Then we decided against it, because just to get the lease of a shop where 2 people can just stand, plus the lease, the electric and the gas was £21,000. Then this is without the inventory, without labor, and this is just a startup. And this was about 7 years ago. And a digital business won't cost you that much. An average business with which cash flows, like even property, when you want to do something like service accommodations and things like that, we say you have to, it's good to have about £3,000, £5,000 as a startup, because you need to, make a deal, pay the landlord, dress the property, the initial costs and all. So any low level digital business, or any these cash flowing businesses, or even if it's crypto, kind of learning how to, and the thing is, all these things, it's not, you have to learn these things. So you might need a mentor and a coach, and most of these coaches will cost you between £5,000 and £6,000 minimum. And then they will be there to help you for maybe 3 months or 1 year or something like that, to learn these kind of things. And the additional thing, when you go out and do the purchase and things like that, is extra 5,000. So, but which is still good, because it will still be, under 8,000, 9,000 pounds, which is still great. But then, you won't have that mentor for lifelong.
Exactly. Yeah.
You won't have that mentor for lifelong. And this is again a business. So that means I can transfer this business to my daughter after my time, because it's considered as an asset.
Yes.
So it is
Whatever.
a legitimate thing. So when you think of it, even if a bricks and mortar, like having a takeaway shop in the UK with just people just standing to get the takeaway, just to lease it out cost £21,000. You know, we don't even need half of that or a third of that to start.
Yeah.
You're proven you're very good on stats,
Oh yeah, I
Susie.
love because I like all these in journals. I read journals, so this meta-analysis and all those sort. It's like
Yeah.
music to my ears. I love those sort of things. And I have
So
to
I
say,
mean,
my daughter hates it.
not a statistic person, but like a creative person, little bit. But the stats, I'm bit.
Well,
Okay.
that's the thing. We all have our thing because I don't consider myself as creative at all. When I see certain people's pages, I'm like, oh my God, how do they do that? But then the thing is, I've grown so much. And now when I see how I post, I can see how I posted first and now. So all these skills we can learn.
Learn.
Yeah.
Everything is learnable. Everything is doable. You just need the mindset. And that's another thing. When you are in a group of like-minded people, when you're in a community, you're always going to be pulled up
Yes.
because
Absolutely.
you're with the right sort of people. So the mindset plays a lot of things, because I always considered, even now, there's so many people in our community whose pages are absolutely fantastic. And I'll be Googling, okay, what color goes with blue? I can't, like, it just doesn't, my mind just doesn't. And both my daughter and my husband, they're very creative. They're very, like, my husband's the one, he gets tired of how our rooms are, and I'll come back from work and he would have rearranged the rooms. And my daughter's just the same, she keeps rearranging the room, and I'll be like, I can't be bothered, I will leave. It'll be where it is, like, I can't think of that. And they do a very good job. And so we all have our own strengths, of course,
Yeah.
and we need each other. But that's fine. Even if you are not good, like me, when I started, I was not good at all, because I don't consider myself creative. I have to be fair. For my, some of my medical school things, I got my brother to draw because I couldn't be bothered. Because I hate drawing. And as a doctor, obviously we had all our our records and things to do. I remember even my 12th, my brother coming and helping whenever he could. He was away, but whenever it's like, I used to keep it to the last, and I'm like, this is what you need to do when you come home. Okay, you need to do this. You need to draw this for me.
This is very common in siblings, I think.
But this is my older brother. So usually you push it to the younger one. This is the older one. Because I'm the younger one now. So we are, we are two. So he's my older brother. I'm the younger one.
Yeah. And the beauty of the people of the community on the business is like they are really helpful. Plus, they don't like feel like you just joined, or I'm so like senior like 4 or 5 months, so I'm not going to help you and things like that. So they are always very friendly, approachable, and not like a competition, things like that. If I say something to money will grow up, or if I say something to Veda will be like performing very well. So they're always very helping and very nice people to work with, like normal people, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when we are here, like, I remember when you just joined Osamani, like, we all had some query about, some Facebook or something. I can't remember. Was it some WhatsApp stuff?
With the WhatsApp.
I had no idea what everyone was talking. I was Googling, but those are the skills you learn. If you don't know something, start Googling. But by the time I could Google, you actually said the answer. There are people like you, because you're a bit more technical. Someone was asking, I said, oh, I think, why don't we ask Money? Money would know a bit more because he's a bit more techie, kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I would tell you things out of experience. What I made mistake, don't make that mistake, please. It will be more like in those terms. But if I don't know something, I'd like, you'll have to Google it. I have no idea. Or like people like yourselves, chip in and help us out, really.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's always great to share knowledge and share your skills, isn't it? That's how you keep everybody motivated.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
you drive them on. That's it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So what is the next step? Like, if someone is interested to join this business, Suzie, how to explore this business? What are the 3 key elements which they need to consider to join this business?
So what we do is actually digital marketing. Now, and that's what we will teach. Digital marketing is actually what we do is we are an affiliate for a company that's been there for over 50 years. So this company has stood the time, test of time, whether it's pandemic, depression, market crashes, and it works well offline as well as online. And we've been in the space for 7 years. And anything more than 3 years in the online space is considered very good, because most things in the online space don't last that long. So we've been there proudly for over 7 years now, doing this successfully. I mean, not myself, but my predecessors and things like that. And that's what we will teach. So this is a complete blueprint. So we will teach you how to do the marketing. You don't need any kind of business background, anything. We can teach you from scratch, because there's the videos to teach you. As we mentioned, there's a mentor and a coach to help you with that. Then, of course, the other element is having a stable company, which we do. It's been there for 50 years, and that speaks volume. And again, it has to be a company that sells products that people would be interested and people will always have need for. So, and that is, again, because of the longevity of our company, that's a proven testament that everyone's using it.
Yeah.
And because it's affiliate marketing, we don't have to bother anything about the inventory, the sales, the back office work, the shipping, nothing at all. So that everything our back office deals with it. So we don't need to. So we have a complete blueprint for you, and that works. So the only variable when it comes to this blueprint is you. So and so we have everything ready to go kind of blueprint for you, people to teach you, a platform where you can learn and grow together. And all you need to do is just contact one of us, and we will be more than happy to help you, lead you what the next steps are. The next step would be registering to our websites, either myself or Mani and Veda. You can contact one of us, and then watch a free webinar, which gives you a bit more detail and overview of what we do. And if that's something that you fancy, then you can decide to take the next step. Yeah. But what you should not be doing is just look at us and say, these are scammers. And I can tell you now, we're not scammers. I've been a practicing doctor for over 20 years. And I am in very big management role in Hammersmith and Fulham. I would not put my, integrity, my credibility on the line to do something a bit dodgy. Yeah. Yes. Because people have come and said, okay, what's your GMC registration? I said, yeah, okay, fine. As long as you don't publicize my GMC registration on my website, that's absolutely fine. This is my GMC registration. Go and check out whether I'm a real person and doing what I'm doing. So I'm confident enough for you to go and check me out. I have no problems. You can go and see my LinkedIn profile and things like that. Please go ahead and see. So we are not scammers. We are here just giving you an opportunity to look for, another way to earn. Because, life is fragile. What if you or someone you love falls ill tomorrow? Can you be able to pay your bills if you were not able to go back to work again? That's the question that I need to ask you. And 3 years ago, when I thought about it, my answer was no. And I knew I needed something. And yes, it's good. And please do have other portfolios like shares and stocks and things like that. But the thing, what I realized with all those ISAs, all are very good, and please do have it. It's always good to diversify your portfolio. But those don't bring in cash flow. And cash flow is what you need to pay your bills on a monthly basis. Are you getting money in every month? So some of these things are long-term. Like if you buy a property, it's a long-term investment. Yes. And, if you rent out a property, the only, nowadays you get only 200, 300 pounds. So which is minimal. Like for me, I sometimes earn as much as I earn as a GP, or even double as I earn as a GP. There are people who earn 7 figures in a month. So that is the potential of this business, rather than just buying a property and getting 200 pounds a month. Because I earn a lot more than that a month because of this business. So don't let this opportunity pass you by. Just check us out, check the website out, and see if it's for you.
Yeah. And even on the second level, it's a 30 days refundable if they are still not interested. They can take the money back. So.
Absolutely. If you feel, no, this doesn't tie with my ethics, or, whatever, I can't do, this doesn't interest me, whatever the reason is, that's fine. It's up to you. At least you've looked at it and fine. And we're not saying this is for everyone. But the only thing I would tell everyone is, if you're a busy professional, having tried other things also, because I have tried crypto, I found everything very hard, because, when you're, my dad does, my dad's a retired banker. So he trades. So again, if you're not, it's all the timing.
Yes.
And, when you're like, I do an evening shift, sometimes I do morning shifts and the afternoon shifts. So I can't say what my schedule is going to look like. And even for trading, if at that time I'm seeing a patient, that's it, that's gone.
Exactly.
So this is nothing like that. This is, you're the boss. You decide when is your time. And one day you feel like, no, I don't want to do anything much. That's absolutely fine. You just compensate it on the next day.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Thank you, Suzie.
As far as whoever is willing to join, all they need is just a passion, to put their time and the commitment.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Simple as that.
Yeah. And the best thing is, this is not just a platform to earn, it's a platform to learn as well.
Learn and grow. Because there's a lot of transferable skills. Like I have, there was a time when I still remember doing a meeting, and there were about 800 people online. And before the meeting, I was just going to the toilet, and my husband was like, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, and now when I think of it, I was like, it's fine, because I do this every week.
That's personal growth right there.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. There's lots of transferable skills. There was a time when I was struggling to do, I teach medical students. So there was a time when I was struggling to do a video during COVID for the medical students. My daughter was like, give that phone to me, Mom. And she was doing something on iMovie. And now I show, see, this is what I'm doing. And she'll be like,
when we joined the business, and when we were not like most of the normal people are not like a media person, come and speak in front of the computer or the live. So when we were on the first interview with our mentor, Dr. Dharani, we were preparing, we are preparing list of content. Whether you ask this one, and we were like a list of questions, we were preparing in advance, and how to present ourselves. We are doing
you're preparing us, which is always good for the first time. It's always good for the first time.
Now, we got
it's like second nature, isn't it? Now it's like second nature.
It's just we are talking to your friends or family. It's coming naturally. So
and that's the beauty about rather than if you're face to face, you can talk 1 to 10, 1 to maybe 100, or 1 to 200 or whatever. But this is 1 to how many? It's 2 or 3 billion, million users in Facebook. So that's the potential, and that's the beauty about the online space. It's 1 to thousands and thousands.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah.
Amazing opportunity. But thank you so much for your time with us, Suzie. You've given us lots of really important information, and I hope everybody has understood what's said. If you have any other questions, or you'd like to know any more information, please get in touch with either ourselves or Dr. Suzie, and we would be more than happy to help you. So thank you for watching today, everyone, and we'll see you again on another interview.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Suzie.
Thank you, Suzie. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.